Okay, so imagine yourself out in public. You are enjoying your day, and all of a sudden you hear yelling for help, screaming, everybody running towards a certain area, and you get a sense of fear in the air. You look over and you see someone holding their neck with their hand, and their face turning pale. At this moment, you know that this person is choking. And today, with the information I've provided you, you should be more than ready to save someone's life with Heimlich maneuver. It's important for us to know this skill because it can come handy in the future. You never know, life's unexpected. I would like to talk about what is the Heimlich maneuver, how a person chokes, signs on when to use it, and how to administer it properly. First, the Heimlich maneuver, it's also known as the abdominal thrust, abdominal meaning the stomach area, and it's a first aid procedure used to treat upper obstruction airways, such as choking. The term Heimlich comes from a man named Dr. Henry Heimlich, who is the creator and basically founder of this maneuver. And some background information about Henry. He was a surgeon, and he is still 96. He is 96-year-old at the moment, and he is still living. And this year of May, he recently saved a woman's life, an 86-year-old woman, in his retirement home. And he's never used this move before, and at that time it was his first time using it. So how a person chokes. Basically, near our throat area, we have this tooth called the trachea, also known as the windpipe, and it connects our mouth and nose. And every time we breathe, those two things, it connects to the lungs. And every time we breathe, it is used. It's basically our breathing tube. And when a person chokes, this part that was a picture of Henry. So here's the trachea, and like I said, it connects the mouth and the nose. And when this part gets obstructed, we have difficult breathing, or sometimes we can't breathe at all. And in this picture, there's a piece of debris in the trachea, and this person would feel, this person would suffer from difficult breathing, and therefore this maneuver would be used. So when you use the Heimlich maneuver, you want to look for signs of choking, because obviously, if the person is still breathing, you don't want to use the move on it. That would be just weird. And so when should you use it? You should use it when they show signs where they cannot talk at all. They are holding they're holding their necks with their throat, and they have like a concerned look on their face. When a person cannot breathe, they are deprived of oxygen, so therefore their face turns pale, and therefore that's when you should be able to use it. How to administer it? You first want to reassure that the victim who is suffering from choking, that you are going to help them, because when you're choking and if someone acknowledges you that, like notice that you are going to help them, it makes them feel less worried. And you want them to be standing up, or you want the person to be standing to perform the Heimlich. but in some cases, depending on like they're maybe too large. You can still perform the maneuver, but you gotta have space to do it. And so when you have, so after you reassure them, you want to do is to get your fist, your dominant hand, put it near the abdomen area, and you want to perform this J shape. So reassure them that you're going to help them. And you want, at the same time, you want to have someone call 911 just in case, to have like a secondary life-saving people. So here, you can see how this fist is first, and then after that, you want to have your hand over your fist. And then you want to perform this J shape, like if you're going to lift a person up. So therefore, so you can push the air that's in your abdomen, and if you do it correctly, the person should be able to cough it up, or sometimes it will, the obstruction will shoot out the mouth. And so now you guys can be prepared to use it in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, don't do the J-shape thrusting on the throat. That's not what you want to do. All right. The visualization at the beginning was fine as an attention device. You are engaged with the audience. You seem to be standing in a way that suggests that you're in command, at least at the very beginning of the speech. There's a solid preview of what the supporting material is going to be. In the content, I liked a couple of things. I liked the little detail about Heimlich and the fact that he performed this for the first time himself in his 90s and that he's still alive. That's kind of cool. That's interesting. How long the maneuver has been around, when he originated it, it would probably be a good thing to add, so it would make sense. I mean, if he came up with this in his 30s and he's in his 90s and this is the first time he used it, that would make it, I think, a little bit more impressive. So, that's just but I like the detail that you had there. And the descriptions, for the most part, are fine. It's obvious a couple of times that you fell behind on the visuals that you were using, and then you kind of had to catch up on a couple of things, but that was not problematic. I thought you got through that pretty well. Presentation factors, it's, like I said, I thought you started in a good, confident position, but every time you have to go back over to the notes to see the next thing, it seems like there's some uncertainty creeping in. You had some good descriptive gestures. while you were speaking. Your facial expressions are fine. You look engaged. Your eye contact actually is very solid. I think you have a tendency to look at us and distribute it well throughout the presentation, except for a couple of times, like I said, that you got behind on the visual materials. You were okay there. I did think that the notes become a distraction to you. You needed probably a couple more rehearsals so that you didn't, I mean, you were right there not needing the notes at all, but the times that you did need them, it was so obvious because it comes across your face. You have to step over there. You stop and pause for long periods of times. It's just one of those things where a couple more run-throughs probably would have addressed that sort of issue, and then it wouldn't have seemed nearly as obvious. The pacing, I think, does seem a little bit slow, and because of those pauses, it's a little bit problematic. You've got a quiet voice. I think we've talked about this before. I think you need to put in a little bit more energy. Maybe the pacing would help that a bit more. At the end of the speech, I think you want to have a summary so that it's easier to tell that this is the conclusion of the presentation, so it feels a little bit less abrupt. Thank you.